I'm Bill Ross, and if you're watching this video, chances are you're not real happy with where you're living and you're considering making a change. I'm so happy with the choice that my wife and I made and where we relocated to that I decided to produce this video and tell the story. And it includes why we decided to move, our decision-making process, and how we feel about the move after being here. You know, after moving to Silicon Valley from Boston 30 years prior, on February 22nd, 2021, my wife and I decided to sell our house and leave the once great state of California. We signed with a listing agent and began the process. We spent the next 90 days or so doing some remodeling. The goal of the remodeling was to maximize the price on the house and minimize the time on market. We listed the house on May 6th and accepted an offer well over listing price on May 10th. And while the remodeling was underway, we took a family trip to San Antonio on April 5th to scout out the area, narrow down the neighborhoods we'd seriously consider. More on the San Antonio decision later. Our California house closed on June 11th, and as part of the selling agreement, we kept occupancy until July 12th. This gave us a little bit of breathing room to find the new house and close on it and move in. So on June 9th, my wife and I took another trip to San Antonio and made an offer on a house which was accepted on June 12th in Boerne, Texas. Boerne is in hill country about 30 minutes north of San Antonio. We closed and moved into our new home on July 16th. Just 72 days after listing our old house and 145 days from making the decision to move. Yeah, if you want to move, you really can do it that quickly, but you do have to be motivated and organized and have a plan. So, you know, the moment we accidentally drove through Boerne downtown, we fell in love with it. As we finished seeing the very last house we were going to go see for the trip, the home we ultimately bought popped up as just listed, and we were about 40 to 50 miles away. We immediately jumped into our car and drove over. And no kidding, the house had just listed and there were already people inside viewing it and several other groups of people in line to go in. So why Texas? Why San Antonio? Why hill country? If not for the schools, taxes, high cost of living, lack of freedoms and politics, we would ideally have relocated to California's Central Coast near Paso Robles. We wanted to be in a place that was warm and on the ocean and was near a relatively large city. And that remained true. This really narrowed our choices to North and South Carolina, Florida and Texas, and we actually also considered Tennessee. But after living with earthquakes, wildfires, mudslides, you name it, the better half ruled out hurricane-prone areas. And you know, this essentially eliminated all but Tennessee and Texas. And you know, there really was some appeal for Tennessee, but the cultural adjustment, well, let's be honest, the shock, we thought might be too much for us. San Antonio, with easy access to the coast, but far enough away to avoid hurricanes, is where we focused our search efforts. A little about San Antonio. San Antonio is the second largest city in Texas behind Houston and the 7th largest city in the US. It was founded in the early 1700s and therefore has a lot of history and culture. And while its population is hard, it's really more like a big town or a series of big towns than, you know, a huge impersonal city, while still having a very vibrant downtown and excellent universities. But why did we decide on hill country? In California, we lived in the Santa Cruz Mountains between San Jose and Silicon Valley and Santa Cruz on the coast. We were akin to terrain, trees, and privacy. We therefore chose to focus our search in the Texas hill country just north of San Antonio. It has easy access to San Antonio, friendly downtowns, terrain, milder temperatures, less humidity. You know, many are actually abandoning Austin and moving westward towards San Antonio to escape the rising crime, rising homelessness, rising costs, and silly politics. New Braunfels, between Austin and San Antonio, is one of the hottest real estate markets in the country. And with easy access to 2 international airports, one can get virtually anywhere in the world. We spent a lot of time looking there. And you know, another thing is it's just below Canyon Lake, so there's a lot of recreational opportunities there as well. I want to now talk a little bit about, you know, how we acclimated to the move once we got here. And you know, before meeting each other, both my wife and I had made significant changes in relocation in terms of both distance and culture. You know, and as such, we really anticipated a period where this wouldn't feel like home for a while. But no kidding, really, there was zero adjustment. We felt at home here immediately. And I can't say that this will be true for everyone, but for us there was no adjustment period. And as a bonus, each morning we are welcomed to the new day with spectacular sunrises, as you can see. And Texas aren't smiley face nice, they're not superficial, but they're genuinely warm and friendly. And you know, we often begin conversations with them by apologizing for being from California and promising that we didn't bring California with us. And you know, there's another issue I'd like to address as well. Texas gets a bad rap for bias and prejudice. And while I'm sure it exists here like everywhere else, I have yet to see even a hint of it. I've seen mixed couples of every ethnic, color, stereotype, and nobody bats an eye. Nobody cares. And you know, this is even true male-male, male-female, same thing. What I have noticed about Texans is that they are very tolerant of almost everything, with a notable exception of one. They do not like and do not accept others imposing their opinions or values on them. And frankly, it's quite refreshing. You know, essentially, everyone's welcome here. There's no bias, there's no prejudice to any degree that's any different from anywhere else I've lived in the country, and I've lived in some pretty liberal areas. You ever see one of those ads where the CEO says, "I liked it so much I bought the company"? Well, I did, sort of. I like living here so much that I walked away from my 30+ years in high tech and got my real estate license. I genuinely want others to find the contentment I and my wife and family have found here. If you want to learn more about the thought processes that got us here, or things to consider in making a move, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to share my experiences and help you in any way I can. Just reach out to me. And if you're looking to buy here, I'd be happy to help. Thank you very much.